we all remember certain characters from certain franchises. Katniss, Peter, Haymitch, Luke, Leia, Han, Legolas, Aragorn, Bilbo. But what about those characters that we forget about? Those characters that are maybe not as present in the films but are so important in the books and lay a lot of groundwork. So today we're going to look at some of the forgotten characters in Harry Potter. Let me know if you like this type of video and I can do it for the other franchises as well. So the first one we're going to look at is Andromeda Tonks, born Andromeda Black. Now if you've seen my Bellatrix Lestrange deep dive, The Twisted Life of Bellatrix Lestrange, you'll know who Andromeda is. So Andromeda is Bellatrix's sister along with Narcissa. Now she was the mother to Nymphadora Tonks, and she was actually disowned for marrying a muggle-born wizard, Ted Tonks. She is a massive example of moral courage and family loyalty. She probably knew, because her family were they were loyalists. They honestly believed that muggles should stay with muggles, you shouldn't be loyal to them, you shouldn't even associate with them, and wizards should stay with wizards. I think it's called pure blood supremacy. As soon as Andromeda married Tonks, her entire family disowned her. She was burnt from the tree. Now she only appears briefly and she's actually mostly referenced rather than shown, so we don't see her in the films, and in the books she's very barely mentioned as well. And as a result of this, Nymphadora is also disowned by the Black family because she is obviously Andromeda's daughter, so on and so forth. So the next forgotten character is Winky. So Winky is a female house elf who served the Crouch family. Her story is important because it highlights the mistreatment of house elves, but it also adds depth to the storyline around Barty Crouch Jr. And again, if she's only in the books, I would have loved to have seen her in the movies, but maybe we might see her in the TV show, which would be amazing. She does appear quite a lot in the books, and she does go to work at Hogwarts eventually in the kitchens with Dobby, and she's absolutely miserable. She is overshadowed by Dobby, which is why she's forgotten. Dobby is very eccentric, very happy to be free, really understood his mistreatment wasn't okay and tried to stand up. And you guys know I don't really like Dobby, but compared to Winky, who I believe she felt her punishment was really being at Hogwarts. Like, she wanted to serve the family, like she was very loyal to them, and it kind of gave her joy, I think, to serve them. So yes, she was overshadowed by Dobby, and she was completely omitted from the movies as well, which is why if you haven't read the books, you won't know who Winky is. The next one is actually someone who, again, is completely omitted from the films, and this is Marietta Edge. So this is a friend of Cho Chang, and this is the person who actually betrayed Dumbledore's army to Umbridge. Now, because she was omitted from the movies, this burden, this act was actually fallen to Cho, who was then portrayed as the informant instead. So she's important because her betrayal introduces moral complexity and also consequences within the Shun rebellion, because obviously then they got caught and everything kind of spiraled out from there. It is a shame that she was omitted, but I kind of understand it because she, in a way, has such a small role in the books that it probably would have been a lot of work to find someone, cast them, get them on screen, so on and so forth. I do like the way they did it though, because it kind of broke down that relationship that Cho and Harry had formed, and made way for Ginny. So I do like how they did rewrite it. I don't know if we'll see her even in the TV show, and if we did, I imagine she'd have a much larger role. Next is someone who is mentioned but we don't actually see, and that is Charlie Weasley. So he is one of the older Weasley brothers who works with dragons in Romania. When Norbert is shipped off to Romania, it is to be with Charlie. Now he represents a life outside the typical career paths, and he shows that there's much more to the magical world than being a teacher, being at Hogwarts, or the Ministry of Magic, being an aura, anything like that. He's a character, again, that would have been great to see, but I don't know how they would have incorporated him in. He is never in the movies, and he only really has minor roles in the book, so again, I understand that why he wasn't in the films, but it's cool that you know, he does get referenced and his job is really cool as well. I think Luna really got on with Charlie Weasley. So the next one is someone who we do see in the movies and the books, but again is someone who is fairly minor, so I don't think we really remember her that much, and that is Arabella Fig. This is Mrs. Fig. Now she is a squib and a neighbour to the Dursleys, secretly watching over Harry. So a squib is someone who has magical parents but no magical abilities. She is important because she does show the role that she can play, or that squibs can play, in the wizarding world, and she is pivotal in the Order of the Phoenix. You know, Dumbledore asks her to keep an eye on Harry as the neighbour, and it's when you kind of realise this, that, you know, when he was being put with her next door, when the Dursleys would go out for fun days out, you know, she was probably looking after him then as well, kind of maybe keeping tabs on him, maybe reporting back to Dumbledore about him as well. So she's always kind of lurked in the shadows. She does have a brief appearance, as we know, but she is definitely more overshadowed by more dramatic characters that have a bigger presence on the screen. So although you do know who she is, we don't see her as often as other characters. Merrick Gaunt. Now if you've seen my deep dive into Voldemort story, you will know who this is, and this is his mother. So she was a abused witch from the Gaunt family. Her backstory is really important because it helps explain Voldemort's origins and his lack of empathy. So if you don't know, Voldemort's mother actually tricked Voldemort's father, a muggle, into falling in love with her and having the baby, and then he came out of the spell, or she let him go. He ran away, she gave birth to him, gave him to an orphanage, and then yeah, so that's kind of the very brief role, or the very brief story. Do check those videos out if you want a bit more in depth. And she is forgotten because her story is hidden in memories, which you get from the books, but you don't hear any of this in the films. I don't know if it was necessary to put it in the films. It would have given you a bit more backstory about Voldemort, but it's something I think I could definitely put into the TV series. I think it would sit really well there and give you that backstory that you're looking for. Okay, so the next one is 3 characters in one, and this is Ernie Macmillan, Hannah Abbott and Susan Bones. So these are Hufflepuff's students and they're members of Dumbledore's army, and they are important because they are overlooked. We really see a lot of Slytherin and Gryffindor in the series, which I get, but Hufflepuff is an overlooked house. They have bravery, they have loyalty by joining Dumbledore's army, and we do see, you know, bits of these guys in the books and the films, but they're not pivotal, they're not really forefront characters, so they do get forgotten about easily, because I don't think of Hogwarts and think, Susan Bones. I think of Hogwarts and think, Dumbledore, or Harry. You know, it's not something that really pops to the forefront of my mind. Next is kind of a sad one, and this is Teddy Lupin, and this is the son of Nymphadora and Remus Lupin. So he's important because he symbolises hope and continuity after the war. But another kind of link and connection you can make is that after the First War, Harry lost his parents and became an orphan. After the Second War, Teddy lost his parents and became an orphan. The difference being that Teddy had a whole group of people around him which Harry didn't get, because obviously Sirius was in Azkaban, he'd been set up, and Harry was just given to the Dursleys. So it kind of draws parallels, but in a nice way, not in a horrible way. It's really sad, obviously, that Remus and Nymphadora die, but Teddy will be looked after, and he is a hope for the future. So he's only mentioned in the epilogue in the books, and he's completely absent from the films. Again, very minor role. Is there any need to cast someone for it? Again, maybe in the TV series we'll see him on the platform at the end, 19 years later, but I don't know. Is it necessary? Possibly not. It's just a nice little detail. And the last one, we have Ludo Bagman. So he is the head of the Department of Magical Games and Sports, and he is completely cut out of the movies. You're probably thinking, who is Ludo Bagman? You know, in the books, he's there quite a bit, but completely gone from the movies. Now, he is a key figure in the Goblet of Fire. He has a subplot with Goblin Debt, and he adds nuance to the Wizarding economy. I really liked this character. I think he was quite quirky. He was kind of like, he was in a place of importance, but he didn't have that kind of stiff upper lip. I just thought he was really well played. Oh, sorry, he was really well written, should I say. And I just really liked how he was, I don't know, he just didn't seem to take anything too seriously, including his death. But yeah, I liked him. It would have been cool again to have him in the films, but I don't know if his subplot, a bit like Winky, would have really added that much to the films. The series, definitely can see him being added in the series. I think he'd make a great character there, so fingers crossed. So that's everything for this video, guys. They are the 9 forgotten figures that I could think of from the Harry Potter series. Let me know if there's anyone that you think is forgotten, anyone that only you really seem to remember when you talk about Harry Potter. Drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you think. Don't forget to subscribe. I've got a lot of stuff coming out this year, and until next time, you take care.